What's going on, guys? Welcome to M3 Gaming episode 8, where Jeff and I discuss everything new with the PS5. And I think we're going to kind of sit down and go through that shadowkeep storyline and pick it apart and give our own little thoughts and opinions about it. So with all that being said, what's up, buddy?
Hey, buddy.
How you feeling?
Good. Tired.
Oh,
Been a long week.
Not long enough for me, unfortunately.
No?
No, I got to go back to work on Wednesday.
Oh, God.
Or Tuesday, excuse me, Tuesday.
It's about over with, huh?
It's about over with.
Yeah.
I slept so much.
Good.
I feel like that's all I did was sleep.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
No. A lot of PlayStation news.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of PS5 news.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm super excited. I'm so ready for a new console.
It is time.
Granted, I feel like I just bought my Xbox my Xbox One X like a year ago. I'm just ready for that next gen.
Yeah, it's going to be a big jump in the right direction for PlayStation consoles anyway.
Yeah, a lot of PlayStation news. Sony reveals PS5 release date window, controller details, official name, and more from GameSpot. The company announced some of its news in a PlayStation blog post. I'm proud to share to our next generation console will be called the PlayStation 5 and will be launching in time for holiday 2020. Sony Interactive Entertainment president Jim Ryan in the post. These updates may not be a huge surprise, but we wanted to confirm them for the PlayStation fans as we start to reveal additional details about our vision for the next generation. Big PS5 coming from dev behind Uncharted Shadow of the Colossus Remain remasters. Ryan went on to share more details on Sony's vision for the next generations as well as its plans for the PS5 controllers. One of our next dreams with the next gen console is a deeper feeling of immersion within when you play games and when you have the opportunity with our new controller. Some of these new features will be the PS5 includes a disc drive for physical games and 4K Blu-rays. PS5 disc will have a capacity of 100 gigabytes. Game installation is mandatory, but the console will allow you to just install a multiplayer campaign, for example, or install the entire game and then delete the single-player portion once you're done. The controller doesn't have a name yet, but contains an improved speaker, USB-C connectivity, a larger capacity battery. There is a ray tracing acceleration in the GPU hardware. The new UI will allow you to see more details on what you can play at a time, as well as more what you and your friends could be doing. Bluepoint Games, the studios behind remakes such as Shadow of the Colossus and Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection, is working on a PS5 game that says it's a big one for launch. Sony has not yet shared what PS5 will look like, nor its precise release date or price point. Earlier this year, the company did state that it was working on a new PlayStation, but stopped short of confirming a release window or name. So, okay, yeah, let's go into the details. We'll include a disc drive for games, physical games, and 4K Blu-rays. PS5 disc will have a capacity of 100 gigs. Game installation is mandatory, but the console will allow for you to just install multiplayer campaign or install the game and then delete the single player portion once you're done. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah. Freed up space for people that are just looking to play one part of the game or whatever.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people that they play Call of Duty. Let's say Black Ops 4, but all they play is Blackout. You know, they have a whole single-player campaign on there that,
Right.
they don't even play, don't even need, but yet they still have to download 110 gigs.
Yeah. So that'll be handy. I mean, you still got to download the whole thing, but you can still free up the space afterwards, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's good for the people that are buying games for specifically one reason.
Yeah, it's ideas like that where you have to kind of start doing... you do kind of have to get to the point now where you have to kind of dip into what other people are doing, because unfortunately that has been something that's been on the Xbox and PC for a while now, especially with the 4K Blu-ray player and the portion install. Next, the controller doesn't have a name yet, so, I mean, DualShock 5.
That's what I was thinking.
Fancy Rumble controller.
Right, because, as crazy as the design is changing for PS5, still the same... It's still the same progression as far as names of the consoles and stuff. And I like it because it's simple. It's kind of like the whole way Apple operates too. They keep it as simple as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like iPhone 11, iPhone 10X, whatever, iPhone 8. They just one name, number, whatever. And PlayStation kind of continues doing that too. So,
you think that's what we'll have 40, 50 years from now when it's time for PlayStation 10? Do you think it'll be PlayStation X?
PlayStation, hey, I'm into it.
but it will have USB-C connectivity and a larger capacity battery. USB-C is great. Super happy for that. Finally, everything around the house will just be USB-C instead of Lightning, micro, and USB-C. Larger capacity battery. That one doesn't really bother me as much, I guess, because I own 2 controllers. So as soon as I'm done with one, I just go grab the other one and put the other one back on the charger.
Yeah, that's what I do. Going. Yeah.
But it will be nice at first because I'm not going to have to... Because I probably won't have 2 controllers at first. So...
Oh, with the PS5?
Yeah.
I feel like you should probably just go ahead and spend the extra money,
probably should, but who knows? I might not.
Yeah, it all depends on what's going to transfer over to PS5, like what we're playing now, you know.
And see, I was thinking about that earlier. Like, I've already bought all of Destiny for PlayStation and Xbox. I'm going to want to play my PS5 console, but I don't want to have to rebuy everything for the PlayStation 5, you know? So, yeah, but it says it's backwards compatible, though.
So I guess we'll be fine then.
Yeah, it's backwards compatible, so I mean it should be okay.
Yeah. Spend the $60, get a new controller.
Hopefully it's $60.
Yeah. Well, with all those new features on it, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the haptic feedback and the
USB-C charging,
and the triggers.
Yep.
I forget what the word is. They're not like adjustable, but it's like they react differently depending on what you're doing in games. So like if you're playing like Call of Duty or Destiny, for instance, and like one gun, like the trigger will feel different than like...
Or like when you're pulling a bow.
Yeah.
You got more tension.
Exactly. So that's really cool.
There is ray tracing acceleration in the GPU hardware, says Mark Kearney, lead system architect. That's really cool. Basically, that's just a bunch of fancy mumbo jumbo for your realness is just going to look a whole lot more real.
Yeah.
All it is.
Better graphics. That's all.
That's all it is. The new UI will allow you to see more details on what you can play at any time, as well as more of what your friends are doing. That, along with being able to kind of pinpoint where you drop into a game. So that'll be cool. As far as like what level and what checkpoint you want to drop into. SSD and loading times. It's going to go from like 16 minutes to hopefully a minute.
What was that? It was out a few months ago. They were showing off the loading times on Spider-Man.
It went from 16 seconds, I believe, to it was like 1.6. It was like
almost instantly.
Yeah, it was almost instantly with an SSD. Yeah,
that's insane. So,
but with all of these new features and featurettes, we still don't have a price point.
I feel like it's gonna probably be around the same, if I had to guess. Hopefully, maybe like $100 more, but I mean they don't ever sell them where they're ridiculously overpriced, where people can't afford them. You know, I mean, and then if they are, then you wait 6 months till someone trades theirs in, and you go buy it for $150.
I'm guessing $499.
Yeah,
I'm going to take a hard guess and say $499 because with everything that the Xbox One X has and the PlayStation is going to have along with it, $499 just seems right. I will be super shocked if it's $399. The only reason I say that is because the PS4 Pro is already at $399. So the only thing I could guess is that if they go the $399 route with the PS5, then that means that they're going to have to drop the price of the PlayStation 4 Pro, and then most likely just discontinue the Slim altogether, so you'll only have those 2 models out. And then just makes PS4 Pro at, $299. But I see $499.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that, honestly. With all the stuff that you're getting, it's an advancement on the technology that the PlayStation has. Right. I think $499 is a fair price point.
No, and like you said, with everything that you're getting, I do think that's a fair price point. Yeah.
Now, do I think $299 for the Pro is a little high? Yes. That's already been out for like 2 or 3 years now. So by the time like 2020,
no, it's still $399.
I know. Yeah, but I'm saying I still think $299 is gonna be high. So like
for the Pro,
yeah, like $199 because it's still like. Did they say how many gigabytes the hard drive was for the PS5?
No, they still haven't. They still haven't released that. But I think it cannot have a minimum of 1,000. It's got to have a minimum.
Like it's got to have at least a terabyte on it, right?
Right, it's got to have at least a terabyte because all these games that are going to be coming out are going to be 100 gigabyte games. So, I mean, not every game is going to be 100 gigs exactly. So, if you're looking at, Red Dead for, I know for PC it was 150. I don't remember how much it was for
it's up there on PlayStation.
I think it was like 110 for the PlayStation.
Yeah, it's high.
So now GTA 5, after, it's been out for so many years and updates, it's well over 100. So you're not going to have that 100 precisely. So, you're not going to get a full 10 games. So,
right. And are you still going to be able to hook up a terabyte hard drive to the PS5?
I don't see why you couldn't. But it hasn't said yet. I don't see why that's something they would take away.
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that worries me about things that are coming out soon, but there's still very little information. That's a lot that we've gotten, but there's still a lot more stuff that we want to know. Yeah,
but I feel like there's a lot more like deeper dive that we can definitely go into this as far as launch lineup. Do you have any speculations or thoughts or concerns about what you might see at launch?
They've usually been pretty okay with their launches. It's really going to be more what they're going to bring to the table at launch. So like what launch titles are you going to have alongside your console? Because that was a big thing when PlayStation 4 came out, were the launch titles, right? You had like Killzone and Infamous, Second Son, and a few others. I can't remember exactly. There's a lot of launch titles that were with it. So I'm really just interested to see what's going to be sold with it, or if there's going to be any bundles, or whatever the case might be. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen, but they're going to have some competition, that's for sure. With Scarlet's coming out at the same time, right? Roughly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just remember Killzone, Shadowfall, and Knack were two.
Forgot about Knack.
Knack and the Dive Kick. But yeah, I remember those three games were the ones that I specifically remember. If I had to take a big guess on it, I would say Horizon Zero Dawn 2.
Okay.
Because I think it's been long enough for that game. But I still think it's too short for Spider-Man 2, God of War 2. Last of Us Part 2 will already be out.
Remastered.
Probably. Death Stranding 2 is still too short because it's just coming out.
Right.
In...
and the graphics are supposed to be really good on those anyway. So
Hideo Kojima's already stated that he is working on. He's already begun working on Death Stranding 2. So that's pretty cool.
Nice. That'll be cool.
So convincing there.
It's hard to get excited about a game you don't know what it's about, and the developer doesn't know what it's about, and nobody can figure it out. So my excitement is stagnant for sure, and I'm sorry.
Oh, it's fine. Don't worry. I'm gonna bring it to the house and we're gonna play it. Don't worry.
Okay.
Do you find it kind of odd how they are releasing all of this news?
Not really. It's different outlets now than it was 4 or 5 years ago whenever the PS4 came out. So, or 6 years ago. Holy crap.
I feel like, I don't know, if it was me personally, like if I were to release this information, I would release it at some kind of big news conference or something. I would release it at
instead of
E3 or State of the Play, instead of going through a blog post or whatever fancy new relationship that Sony apparently has with Wired, where all of their information is being released from.
Right. Yeah, I've noticed Wired's getting involved in a lot more video game stuff recently, as far as news articles and releases and stuff like that. It's like Wired's the big name behind them now. But yeah, okay. Well, now that you say it like that, it is a little strange that they didn't do it at a convention or something like that, or like an expo. But I think that's just kind of the world we're at now. Like Sony doesn't want to make a big presence at those things anymore, anyway. So I guess this kind of makes more sense for them to go that route.
Well, they better be there next year, showing me some kind of dev kit or something. I need to see something.
Yeah, I really want to see like in time like load screens and menu, like going into your menus and stuff like that. Like how Destiny just takes
that's going to be
forever.
a big thing for me is interface. Like the interface sucks. It's so hard for me to, or it takes me a lot longer to get on board. And that's one of the big reasons why like I play my Xbox, but I don't play it a whole lot because I don't like that interface. It's too like, of course it's Microsoft, so it's it's more PC, user friendly interface, but I don't like it.
Right. Well, PlayStation's is fine, but it's slow.
It is super slow, yeah.
Like there's been times where he gets caught up for 30, 45 seconds, like in one transition screen. So like it makes me think like, oh, is my PlayStation about to shut down, or is it gonna brick, or like what's going on?
Well, see, that kind of brings the argument too of, and another big reason why I'm super excited for PS5 is because I'm ready for PS5 launch, where developers are making games for the PS5, as opposed to now they're making these games for PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, but yet you load them into your standard PS4, and it's taking forever for it to catch up because it's rendered to play for PS4 Pro. You know, if you jump into like Destiny, you know how many times I get stuck on a black screen in Destiny?
Oh, all the time, man. All the time.
But we can switch gears for a second here. PS4 Update 7.0 live adds remote play for Android users. So, not going to go too heavy into this. You got 2 big updates. One of them is cool, I guess, depending on the game you're playing, and the other one is makes no sense to me. You can increase the number of people in your party from 8 to 16.
This is 8 wasn't enough.
Don't ever invite me to a party of more than 8 people. I'm not getting in there.
6 and that's it, man. Like that's tops.
Yeah.
I can't do any more than that.
And you can do, I guess, remote play on your phone. So I brought up Destiny on my phone. That is definitely not a game you want to play on your phone.
No.
Like visually, it looks awesome. But as far as like the controls on your phone, no, I'd have to know.
Yeah, well, they said there's a way now that you can hook up your
you use Bluetooth
to
your
DualShock
controller, and it's super easy.
That's one of the only things I use that PS app for is or the remote plays, just so I can, like, if I buy a game, I can go ahead and start the download or whatever. But that's about it, because it's with the controls being on the screen, really fucks with you. I think I tried to do Batman or something like on the phone, and it's impossible.
You can't.
No.
Blue Point Games is teasing another remake, and fans thinks it's Demon Souls. In an interview with Wired, when asked about the specific titles that are in development for PS5, Marco Thrush, president of Blue Point Games, said, "We are working on a big one right now, and I'll let you figure out the rest." Rumors have been circulating that Blue Point is currently working on a full remake of Dark Souls precursor Demon Souls. Despite the obvious links from software later games, the Demon Souls IP is owned by Sony, so it's technically separate from the rest of the Souls series. However, fans have been clamoring for a remake since long before the release of Dark Souls Remastered in 2018. Adding fuel to the bonfire, our Souls series creator comments that he would enjoy a remaster done right by another studio. Despite this, Bluepoint's next project could be something different altogether. Speaking at GDC presentation back in April 2019, Bluepoint technical director Peter Dalton said that the project was best described as a re-envisioning rather than a remake or a remaster, going further than their work on Shadow of the Colossus. This could suggest that Bluepoint is changing and iterating on more features than it has in previous games would fit with a game that's as reverbed a fan favorite as Demon Souls, which has such characteristic Souls-like style. Maybe not. What do you think?
Who asked for this?
Sony.
Nobody was like, "Oh man, I really want a Demon Souls remake." No.
I don't.
It's the precursor to Dark Souls, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like,
those were never really my games to begin with.
Yeah, they're impossible to me. Like, I just can't do it. But
I think that Bluepoint does a really, really awesome job on remaking games. Shadow Colossus looked amazing remastered. The whole Nathan Drake collection was super awesome, especially when you load up Uncharted 1 from the PS3 onto your PS4. And it was actually remastered with the PS4. It looks super cool. With the PS5 launching, I think my excuse is going to be pretty much the same for everything. I just want to see new IPs. I want to see new IPs from everybody.
Yeah.
You know.
Be creative. Stop remaking shit.
No.
We don't need more of the same. We need more new, more different, more.
I'm paying all this money for the same shit over and over again.
Yeah, like why am I gonna pay full market price for a game that came out 20 years ago?
Just for it. I'm paying $60 for better graphics. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, no. Come on, get it together. You're doing so good. Don't. Oh, this is bad. I don't. Okay. I don't want it. I don't want it.
From Chris Kohler, Jeopardy airs a hilarious incorrect bit of Tetris trivia. I haven't watched much Jeopardy since my personal hero, James, not going to butcher your name, buddy, left the show, but had tuned in last night. I would probably have found myself wondering if I had taken leave of my senses following this question about Tetris in the category. The 7 rotatable blocks used in this video game have names like Orange Ricky, Hero, and Smash Boy, says Alex Trebek. What is Tetris? Response contestant Jessica, phrasing her response in the form of a question, but also in such a way that makes it clear that she really is wondering if it's Tetris, because who's ever heard of Orange Ricky? That was indeed the answer Trebek was looking for, and Jessica nabs a cool $800. Of course, she likely figured this out in contextual clues about 7 rotating blocks and not the names themselves, which she has never heard of because they aren't actually real. The names are from a well-done joke tweet that went mildly viral in February. I know you must have a lot of questions such as why didn't they include either of the Z-shaped blocks, which must now forever refer as the Cleveland Z and Rhode Island Z rather than Forced Jeopardy. To apologize for an upcoming episode, I say we simply adopt these as official names for the blocks and never speak of it again.
Sounds fair.
I'm so confused. So they don't have names to begin with, but the Jeopardy says that they do just from a viral tweet.
Mm-hmm.
Or a tweet that went viral way back when as a joke, but Jeopardy thinks it's real.
I mean, they're allowed to make a mistake.
I mean, I'm not going to say shit because she just won $800.
I mean, she got the answer they were looking for, so shit, hats off to her, man. Congrats.
I mean,
congratulations. What was her name?
I just said Jessica.
Jessica, on your $800. Take the family out to Dave and Buster's.
Now I'm just curious if she won.
Oh, I hope so. Picking apart riddles like that.
Right. From Kotaku.com, Steven Totillo. The Division 2's next free expansion sounds like a glass half something. Was it enough for a free expansion? We'll find out. The Division 2's this month as the game's second expansion, taunted by Ubisoft as its biggest, starts rolling out this week. Promise for the addition to Ubisoft shooter about taking back Washington, D.C. are 2 big new missions, one set in the Pentagon and one in the DARPA labs. Both are expected to extend the game's story. The 2 missions added via July's expansions were superb, as the look and the flow of the missions in this game have been a strong point. Here's the official description of East. The first main mission of the Pentagon, agents will discover the location of the perfusion bioreactor inside the Pentagon's underground research facility. The Black Tusk have already infiltrated the lab and are attempting to extract the reactor. Second main mission for the DARPA research lab. Players must make their way through the Pentagon and into the DARPA labs as the Black Tusk are in the process of transporting the perfusion bioreactor through an abandoned Cold War tunnel network. The missions will be accessible once players take control of a new safe house being added to the game. These new missions, as with July ones, will be levels that players load via an in-game helicopter. But there's no expansion to the game's open world map. Update at 12:30 p.m. On a more positive bent, the game's developers noted that the weekly State of the Game stream today that the missions were made by Ubisoft Sofia, a support studio for the game that also made some of the best parts of the Assassin's Creed Origins and its DLCs. Go ahead, Jeff. Give me your tangent.
Hasn't this whole game been a glass that has something?
I guess it depends on how you look at it.
I mean, it started out really good, and then with the release of the raid, got really rocky because there was no matchmaking, right?
Correct. Yes.
And it's 8-player raid. You know how hard it is to find 7 other people? Imagine
barely find 6 people on Destiny.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So that caused a big stink because half the people couldn't do the new content.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
And with this one, another free DLC, and this is exactly why I didn't buy the season pass for this, because I knew some shit like this was going to go down. Even though this is the free part, some shit like that's going to go down within the season pass too. I can feel it. And you're only getting 2 new missions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some sandbox changes, some gear build changes, and like little tweaks here and there. Like it's nothing completely overhauled or anything, and they're not even adding to the map, and it's just you go get in the helicopter at the White House and go.
Yes, that is like 100% correct.
That's so disappointing.
Which explains how we're getting to New York.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but fuck me, man. Like, I'm so over this game, man. Like, the fact that it's still on my PlayStation right now is blowing my mind. But I gotta wait it out because the same thing. I mean, Division 1 had some setbacks in the beginning too, so I'm like not completely 100% like gonna delete it. But you'd think that they would learn from their mistakes before, right? And now they're kind of falling back onto the same path they were on with Division 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I really hope this gets cleaned up and like just get rid of the season pass because you're not like just make it all free. You know what I mean? Because you're not introducing anything too crazy into the game to begin like in any capacity on any of them. So I don't know. I'm sour. I'm very salty about it.
All right, so with episode 2, you're getting 2 main missions. You were getting 2 classified assignments, one for the marina and one for the embassy. A new specialization, which looks like a 6-point rocket launcher, maybe. Major improvements: increased build diversity, dark zone intensity, targeted loot, conflict rewards. 38 new branded gear items, new weapon and exotic gear pieces, expedition mastery system, invaded mode, including the Manning Zoo and Camp White Oak, including conflict team elimination and the wharf, all of that.
Okay, so it's a little bit more substantial than what I thought, but same token, you get the same amount of stuff for free as you get in the season pass, right? So why pay for the season pass?
I don't think that it's bad. I'm still glad that I bought it because it's still there for me to play, but I don't think that the game is necessarily in the right place for the season pass to work. It's just it doesn't leave you with a whole lot to do. Because when you look at a looter shooter like Destiny 2, and then you look at a looter shooter like the Division 2, in the Division 2 you run out of things to do super quickly. You go, you do your main missions, and you do your little shit for the week, which takes all of a couple of hours, and you're done. And you can't say a whole lot because Destiny used to be like that too, where you could go and you could get everything done within like 4 or 5 hours, and you would have all of your powerful shit done for the week.
Right. Well, but still technically, unless you had everything, like there was still stuff to grind for, like guns or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I mean, there's always something to chase.
And that's the thing. And the Division is those are so super easy to chase, because they're all coming from a certain mission, or there's a certain way that you have to go about them, as opposed to where in Destiny some of them are just completely random drops. So I just don't think it's built right for it to work. It could work, it's just not built right. That's my 2 cents on it. I will play it when the expansion drops on my birthday. That will be it until episode 3 comes out. Because I mean, I've got to play it. I've got to get my money's worth out of it.
Right. So basically, what you're saying is, give it time.
Yeah, I mean, I do think, especially if you do give it time and you decide to come back to it in, a year, you're going to have a lot to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and then I'm sure there's going to be some like gear score raises and balancing and stuff like that. So, I mean, I guess I am at that point where I'm really glad I am taking a break because I've got a lot going on looter shooter wise.
Oh, of course.
It's exhausting. Like I've got Destiny going on. I've got Breakpoint, Borderlands. So, I mean, I got a lot going on as far as that goes.
How you feeling about Destiny?
It's really good. I wouldn't spend so much time on it if it wasn't in a good place.
I'm proud of you, though. You finally got your recluse.
I did. I finally got my recluse. It only took me about 4 hours. And I think
it took 4 hours because they revamped the whole scoring system on comp.
Exactly. I think that's
which was not in any of the updated patch notes at all either.
No, that was unless somebody skipped over it. Every time I heard patch notes, I never heard. They said they made changes to how it was done, I guess, but like they didn't allude to that. We're decreasing the amount of points that we take away from you on a loss, and we're increasing the points gained for a win. They never specifically stated that. So
no,
But yeah, finally got the recluse. Evan is actually, I'm live updating right now. He is like 200 points from getting his. So
so he needs one more match.
yeah, basically.
Okay.
So now that I guess we're at the point where we can talk spoilery.
Yeah, and we're gonna go into it. I kind of want to just kind of go from kind of top to bottom here, as far as everything with the new update that we didn't really touch on as far as last week. I am 80 kills away from my Revoker.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not the greatest with a sniper rifle, but within like 2 to 3 matches, I'll get 10 kills. 10 kills a day. Yeah. I mean, I'll have it in the next week and a half.
What is it, like 50 headshots and then 300
it's 50
kills?
headshots and 300 kills and then however many medals earned.
Or I thought, no, it's glory for that one.
Oh, glory, okay.
Yes, yeah, so you just have to hit Fable.
Yeah, so, yeah, got that. I need 80 more kills on my Revoker, and I'll have the Revoker, and then, while in the meantime, because I'll have, shit, I don't remember which one the one was, but I'll have a sniper in my secondary slot, and then I'll have my grenade launcher in my power slot, and then I'll just have a scout rifle, Polaris Lance, or Jade Rabbit, mostly Jade Rabbit, in my primary slot. So that at that point, like, I'm working on 3 different ones at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm. You're doing Randy's throwing knife too.
Randy's throwing knife for the scout rifle, sniper for the Revoker, and then I'll have mountaintop for the grenade launcher. So like I'm working on all 3 at the exact same time.
So you're trying to get that sweaty loadout, that mountaintop recluse word cliff.
Well, I don't have anything else to really grind for that's not in comp, with the exception of, anything that's in the raid. But you know me, I don't care to raid.
That makes me really sad, by the way.
I mean, I'll do it if you need somebody, it's fine. But I mean, it's not trying to be a dick here, but it was like the other fucking night. I was doing what the hell I was supposed to be doing, but yet I was getting yelled at because apparently I wasn't doing it. Like, I'm standing here, the line keeps breaking. I can't help that the line keeps breaking. You're not paying attention. And I have a 5-year-old. So I'm like, I had a lot of things going on one time. I'm like, shit.
That's the raid for you.
But with the exception of Edgewise, I think is what it's called.
Oh, the Vanguard.
The Vanguard
machine gun.
And the one for Gambit, which... I don't want to go with Gambit.
I picked it up, but
I picked it up too, and I probably will, but it's going to be like one of those last things that I do.
Mm-hmm. Because it's going to be a collection thing. Like, I'm only getting it because it's part of the collection. That's all. As much as I hate to be a completionist, I am.
Yeah.
So that'll be the last, like you said, the last thing I think either of us will go for. So we'll just team up when it's time. We'll go in, knock it out.
No. So let's talk a little bit about what are some things bothering you as far as with Shadowkeep being out right now, as far as the game is concerned? Overall,
right?
Yeah,
so I can
overall.
Hit on anything. There are some mechanics in the new raid that are broken. That's a little disheartening because we were so close to completing the 3rd encounter the other day, and because of a bugged out mechanic, it kept wiping us, or it wouldn't start. So, spoiler alert if you haven't done the raid yet.
Yeah.
There's a part where you have to pick up 30 motes, or deposit 30 motes into.
So there's the Gambit part that we were talking about.
Exactly. It's not as bad as you think, but you go deposit, and once you hit 30, that goes to damage phase, right? We were depositing 48, 50, wouldn't go to damage phase. Like, so that was really...
Were you having any issues with the motes disappearing at all?
There was an instance where the motes disappeared. One of the guys was going after a mote, and it fell right through the floor.
Yeah.
There wasn't a crack in it. It was literally in the middle of the arena, and it fell right through the floor. So that knocked us back.
That sounds like we need a hot fix.
Yep, hopefully. I guess another thing, and I hate to say it like this because you and I were both at that point at one time. The influx of all the new people that are coming in with new light and everything.
So I want to touch on that real quick since you're already talking about the raid.
Yeah.
So have you noticed that the past 2 raids have been pretty short?
The last 4 raids have been short. Well, besides Last Wish, they've all been short.
Okay. Well, let's talk about Garden of Salvation. So do you think that they're making these raid, or let's focus on Garden of Salvation. Do you think that they've made Garden of Salvation raid shorter and not as hard or difficult because they've opened this game to bring in so many more new players?
That's a good question. Maybe, But you still have to learn the mechanics, right? And you still have to have an idea of how these raids work.
See, I disagree because I don't raid that often. I raid long enough to get in there and do whatever y'all need me to do. But from the past raids that I've played, like Scourge of the Past or Leviathan, those mechanics are so much more confusing on what you have to do and how to do them and the time frame you have to do them in, as opposed to what you have to do in the Garden of Salvation, or what's the raid everybody's running to get 1,000 voices?
Oh, Last Wish.
Last Wish, yeah. Like, well, no, I mean,
so the mechanics, believe it or not, the mechanics in Scourge of the Past are a lot easier to learn than the Garden of Salvation mechanics, and that's really just because it's new.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's trying to figure out the best way to do things. Mechanics are always like the mechanics. There's always going to be a base strategy that like Bungie came up with, but there's always going to be workarounds, right? So it's the same with any raid. But I feel like the mechanics in the new one and Last Wish, and in the bigger raids are a lot more complicated than like Scourge or Crown of Sorrow or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell people, and this is funny because like I'm like, oh, like whenever you learn a new raid, find the easiest position to play and just and the quickest thing to learn or the easiest thing to learn and just do that, because the least you have to do, the better, right?
Mm-hmm. That's easier makes it for everybody else.
Exactly. That's why there's the other 5 people that are carrying you. You know.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too. But with the new, sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying with like the same with the influx of like the new players in there, it does kind of create like a little bit of an anchor a little bit. Say if you're trying to do a public event and you need to do heroics, well, they'll go in there and they'll just get it done without making it heroic, and then now you got to go find a new public event, or it's just because like everybody's learning new stuff. It just kind of hiccups everything.
Have you noticed there hasn't hardly been anybody on the moon?
Yeah, they touched on that, I think. But yeah, I don't know if it's like a server thing or whatever, but yeah, the moon is dead.
Which is, it's super strange to me with it being, a brand new mission and a brand new place. Like, there's hardly anybody out there.
Yeah. The only time I've ever seen a bunch of people on there is whenever, not the Vex, the thing you have to do to get to the Vex offensive, whatever that's called, the Vex invasion portals on the moon. That's the only time I've ever seen more than like 4 people on there, 5 people.
Damn.
And update, Evan got it.
Yeah, Evan got his recluse. Let him know you need to start working on his revoker now. Oh, and I was doing something else last night too. I had to do 25 different matches.
Oh yeah, so you're working on Redrick's broadsword.
Okay, so I have survival and control.
You have quick play, and then you have survival, and then you have rumble.
So all I have is rumble left.
Yeah, that's all I got too.
I have 24 matches of that left.
Yeah, same. And we can't do it together, which sucks. But
what? So it won't count?
Yeah, it won't let you load in.
Wow. So something that's bothering me, and I noticed this last night as I was getting off to go to bed. Stacks, as far as your inventory, are really bothering me, and there's nothing you can do about it. So your pieces that you put into the gambit for the reckoning,
the synths, yeah,
the synths or whatever, they don't stack.
Right.
It's super annoying.
I think they stack up to like 5 or
20.
Or is it 20?
It's 20. It stacks, and then it restarts a whole another one. And then I'm just like, I have to stop going and playing this event now, so I don't freaking get any more, because now you're just taking up slots in my inventory.
But just put them in your vault. You might have to spend a whole day just deleting them, but
well, you can't delete them.
Oh, you use them. That's right.
You cannot delete them, and it's super freaking annoying.
Yeah, sorry.
Just
don't play Reckoning.
I'm not, honestly. I need to go and get the armor.
I need to get, what is it, spare rations? Hand cannon?
You don't have that?
Mm-mm. I know.
I could have, no, I've gotten a couple, but I could have swore I've got mine from Gambit.
I mean, I don't know. I
don't
know what's possible with that.
I probably got mine from Gambit.
It's one thing I don't ever want to have to play again is anything Gambit related.
We need a new mode. We need a new game mode.
Absolutely.
Anything bothering you other than raid mechanics?
And
anything
the blue
you wish
areas?
you could go and change?
To be honest with you, I don't know how I feel about the new armor system.
Armor 2.0.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. I guess it's because I'm really still leveling, so I haven't really hit that cap where I need to start changing up things. But I mean, you get really cool bonus mods from the artifact and the ones that you find out in the wild. But to me, it's until I get to that point, it's still going to confuse me because I'm not going to get the chance to really mess around with it because I'm not utilizing it.
At what light level are you looking at to finally be able to?
Probably like 955, 960.
Okay.
And I'm at like 934 or something.
Yeah, I'm
right
at
now.
921.
But that's just because, like, for whatever reason, I was just like, well, I know why, but like whenever I was leveling up playing comp yesterday, I just got all those drops, so that was nice.
What's your ranking now?
Fabled one.
No, your seasonal ranking.
Oh, seasonal. 34.
34. Nice. So you got 30 more to go, and you'll start getting that new armor.
I know that's the only one. That's the only armor I want. I don't want any other armor.
You really don't want that new Iron Banner armor?
I mean, it doesn't really speak out to me, like, you know, it's I mean, it looks cool, I guess.
So it's one of the very few armors out right now that actually look decent. But for me, it's an armor that I like until I can get to that seasonal ranking armor that I can just keep infusing everything with.
Mm-hmm.
That way I'm not wearing, old legendary armor that's just there for light level purposes.
Oh, let me touch on that a little bit. I don't like the ornamentation system because it's only stuff that like is only from Eververse or from like Iron Banner or Crucible, right? So or Vanguard. But I can't like say if I get this amazing roll on legs, right, from Crucible, right, like a 65 roll, right, and then I don't like the look of them. I want my old raid look back, like say from Scourge or Last Wish or whatever. I can't do it because it's not an ornament for raid like that. I want that. That's one thing that
I want that and I want it now.
I'm a millennial and I want my things when I want them.
Okay. Anything else you want to touch on before we dive into the story?
No, that's it.
That's it. Okay.
As for right now, that's all I'm mad about.
Okay. So I kind of have the breakdown here of the synopsis story here. Spoiler warning. This is from the lovely Alana Pierce from Kotaku. Destiny 2's latest expansion ends with a cliffhanger. I'm not going to read this whole entire thing, but I will just kind of hit over points. Stop me wherever if you need to. One that suggests that is the final setup for a fight the series has been building since the franchise debuted in 2014. We got some theories about what it means. So the campaign's final scene is mysterious. An unknown artifact transports you into a flowery, grassy plain surrounded by floating black pyramids in the sky. You made it, says the character who looks exactly the same as you. We've heard your cries for help, it says, and soon we will answer. Your character asks, who is this slowly approaching mimic is, and says, you don't recognize us? We are not your friend. We are not your enemy. We are your salvation. What is that all about? Now, you you have to remember, I didn't play Destiny 1.
Right, I gotcha.
So you made the comment about what it was, and I'm sorry, I probably had the dumbest founded look on my face because whatever you said meant nothing because I have no idea who that person is.
So they've been talking about another race, right? Well, essentially, the main villain is the darkness, and we still don't know what the darkness is. Now, whether the darkness is these pyramid ships, yeah, probably, I guess. I don't know. There's been a lot of stuff, but they're called the Veil, right? And it's supposed to be a new race of enemy. We'll probably be getting it at some point in the next couple seasons. And that's who we're fighting, or supposed to be, like the new one. Yeah,
so this appears to be an encounter with the darkness, that mysterious alien force known as sometime also known as the Deep, has been Destiny's main antagonist since 2014. We've never actually seen the darkness. We only know that it is both worshipped and in some way controls or influences the Guardian's most common enemies, such as the Vex, Hive, Taken, or Scorn. In Shadowkeep, we're actually confronting that foe, sort of, in the expansion. Story starts with Eris Morn, a member of the Hidden and an expert of the Hive, being told something old is attracting the undead aliens to the moon. She goes to investigate. Eris Morn isn't heard from for a while, and a big red hive-infested fortress is discovered on the moon, leading the Vanguard to launch an attack. So your Guardian is part of that attack after you fight a bunch of Nightmares, which are variants of older franchise bosses. You track down Eris Morn. She explains that the Hive and the Nightmares are connected to a Black Pyramid, which is an ancient evil spaceship that they awakened on the moon, though it seems it has been hidden in a cavern under the surface for quite some time. We know more of these are coming because they were seen at the end of Destiny 2's main Red War campaign, and even earlier in Destiny 1 concept art pictured below, when Eris Morn tells us that the ships are connected to the darkness, that pretty much confirms things are getting real. I mean, it was kind of cool that you got to walk among those ships for a minute.
Yeah, and what's really cool is that the architecture is different, right? It's something we haven't seen yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Dreaming City was something new as well, even though we're still technically fighting kind of the same enemy, because the Scorn is really just overhauled Fallen. But it's it was really neat to see something completely different, architecture wise. I thought that was neat.
The Dreaming City to me just seemed like a filler. It didn't really seem like there was a point for it.
For Dreaming City?
Well, with the exception of what's her name?
Oh, Marasov?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a new area. It fit in the narrative really well, but also I feel like Tangled Shore did a better job of that.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of say that it seems more like filler, because I feel like the Spider had such a little bit more bigger impact as far as what to do and why and things of that nature than I feel like Tangled Shore did. It was just a thought off the top of my head. But yes, these Black Pyramids are some kind of vessel for the darkness, but we don't know what they're going to do just yet. What's even more concerning, if the presence of just one of these ships has introduced nightmares and given the entire moon a haunted aesthetic, what is a whole fleet of them going to do? Naturally, Eris Morn wants to figure out what to do about one Black Pyramid that has shown up and how to prevent something bad from happening and what to do if something bad does happen. Without really knowing what it is, we still don't know. Throughout the Shadowkeep campaign, she's being haunted by nightmares of her fallen team members, and you are sent to get some artifacts and armor to safely approach the ship yourself. In the expansion's final mission, you finally get to enter the Big Black Pyramid yourself. When you get there, supportive drone Orgo seemingly gets possessed by the darkness, and you fight a series of nightmares of past enemies, while an unknown entity does the best to convince you that the light is the harboring of countless repeated tragedies. This whole sequence expands on how much power the darkness might actually have. We already knew it united traces against the Traveler and the mysterious spherical terraforming orb that currently floats above the Earth, and one of the known sources of light. And we know that the Traveler effectively died to push the darkness away from the Earth, but we didn't know it was also capable of haunting Guardians, both by bringing back past horrors and by manipulating our view of the force that the Traveler imparts to players, Guardians, the light. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. First off, the Traveler effectively died to push the darkness away from the light, or darkness away from the Earth, excuse me.
I would read the lore. It's really good.
Yeah, I'm about halfway through the book I bought. I don't know if that's the same lore book that we're talking
from Destiny 1, yeah.
Okay.
It's really good stuff. The storytelling, it sucks that it's put out the way that it is, but it's pretty rich, pretty deep. But I want to talk about that last mission for a second.
Yeah, go for it, please.
Okay, so you get pulled onto the pyramid ship, and we've seen the pyramid ship since the last cutscene in vanilla D2, right? So
before the expansions,
right? Yeah. So and this has been 3 years coming,
which I'm kind of happy because I feel like the story's finally getting good again.
It's starting to come full circle. Like
those were such bad expansions.
Just forget about them. All right, so. It pulls you into the ship. You're experiencing all this new architecture, right? And then you get transported through all these different nightmares, and like it starts off with Gaul, right? You fight Gaul, and I don't know if you noticed it when you fought Gaul, you actually went back to the top of the or top of his ship, like you did in the first or in vanilla, and then you go and fight the fanatic in the room in the Dreaming City, not the Tangled Shore one, but the one in the Dreaming City where you first fought him, not in the Strike. But the most epic one after that was all of a sudden you get transported into, and I know you're not going to like know what the hell I'm talking about.
Nope.
But this is what excited me. Like why I want to talk about it so bad. It pulls you and drops you right into the Crystal Room at the Crota's End raid. Right. So Crota's End, I spent more time doing that raid than anything else in Destiny. Out of the 1,200 hours I put in, probably half of that was doing Crota. And
that was D1?
That was the the first expansion, second raid. And it drops you right into the Crystal Room where you start out the raid. And you go out, you run out, and there's thrall and all kinds of shit around you. And then, like, there's these swords. And, like, so one of the mechanic from Crota, you shot him with rocket launchers, he dropped down, then you had to get a sword from the sword bearer and then hit him with the sword, right? And you go out there and you hit that motherfucker with swords. and it was just really amazing to me. And it was such great fan service because, like, you're in that room. You're in that moment. You know, and it's man, it was solid, dude. Like, that was my favorite part about that entire campaign.
So I got to ask, since you did that raid so much, did you get everything from that raid?
Oh, yeah. Of course. It took a while to get some of the stuff, but like the shotgun from that raid eluded me forever.
Right.
Stonebreaker, I think, or something like that. Or Swordbreaker. And I couldn't get it to drop, and that shotgun was amazing. So I finally got that, and then that was like one of the last things I needed, and that was before like SMGs and grenade launchers and bows and all that stuff. So, but yeah, that was huge fan service, and that made me very, very happy.
Nice. So outside of the importance of the form of darkness chooses to take, it's also worth noting that the conversation takes place in the Black Garden, which is the grassy, flowery plain that the robotic Vex come from. The Black Garden is also the location of the final boss, the Black Heart, pictured above in Destiny 1. We know that the Black Heart was directly tied to the darkness, and even though the Guardians defeated it, it seems that the Black Garden remains a special location for the ominous enemy, and the darkness linked to Vex remains present. Having an actual conversation with the darkness is a pretty big deal for your average Guardian, since very few characters in the Destiny universe have ever done so, and we only got so lucky because it wanted us to. Unfortunately, aside from the fact that it clearly conveys a threat and a warning to the interaction does give us a whole lot of clarity, there's a lot the darkness says that's unclear, like the line, "We are not your friend, we are not your enemy, we are your salvation." The entire final mission shows the darkness putting a lot of effort into convincing you that it might not be that evil after all, but it's possible that Bungie will really challenge our perception of darkness and light in Destiny's 2 story going forward. So from that, I take you're going to get a choice, like how you did from pledging with Vanguard and the Drifter.
I wonder if that's going to come be a part of that. Because you got that whole lore book from the Warlocks if you chose Vanguard. Oh, you chose Drifter, didn't you?
I chose Drifter, yeah.
Yeah, if you chose Vanguard, you got like a whole lore book about the Warlocks and stuff. So I'm just wondering if it's going to be like kind of the same thing.
I see that happening. I see a lot of people's secrets coming out. That maybe the Guardians and the Light aren't as good as everybody thinks they are. But what do you take away from the last line right before the mission ends?
We are your salvation.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to take from that. I mean, it could be like the whole like case of either you come with us and save yourself from being destroyed while we or whatever
murk everybody.
Yeah, or it's just like a tactic or something. It's hard to tell because like I mean we may have been fighting the same enemy for 6 years or 5 years, but we have no idea who the hell it is or what it is or anything like that. No, that's the closest we've ever gotten is the pyramid ships, that artifact, and then that guy that looks just like us or gal.
As soon as the conversation with the darkness ends, you're able to reconvene with Erismore and taking the artifact that teleported you to the Black Garden, or a vision of it, with you. Eris Morn warns that we should all be prepared for whatever is to come and discover that the artifact emits a constant signal to the Black Garden. This brings up the Garden of Salvation raid that went live this past weekend. It has the Vanguard send a fire team of Guardians into the Black Garden to discover the source of the signal. The Garden of Salvation's final boss has you fight sort of a hive mind leader of the Vex called the Sanctified Mind, which doesn't appear to be part of the darkness outside their races, known as Alliance. After fighting through the Vex and deactivating the Sanctified Mind, the Guardians find the source of the artifact's signal, which is part of Statue. None of the Garden of Salvation raids seems highly relevant to the ending of Shadowkeep story missions, but it is worth noting that the flavor text for armor and weapons in the raid includes quotes from 3 Guardians who are implied to have turned to the darkness. They are called Kentark 3, and it seems that they somehow saw the future, and that led them to question the light. You can find the full quotes, which have been put in order thanks to Wolfboy702 on Reddit. Destiny's 2 stories continue. The plot's going to keep rolling out over the next 12 months as Bungie adds it across several seasons of updates. The ending of Shadowkeep has ultimately led to more speculation than any concrete answers. I think that is super interesting.
It's very. And we're also getting Festival of the Lost next week.
There's always a festival. I love that about Destiny.
Yeah.
There's always something going on, like every other week or every week. There's always some sort of festival to line up with the holidays.
Right.
Are we gonna make cookies this year for Christmas?
I fucking hope not. No, I was just wondering because I'm wondering if like some more story stuff's gonna happen during that. I mean, usually it doesn't, but or maybe just like a little bit of like a flavor text or something.
Well, I mean, that's kind of thing. Like, I want to get the armor, and I didn't get the armor when we did the raid. I kept getting weapons. I was so mad.
Yeah, dude. All I got were boots and the shotgun.
And I want to get the armor just so I can see the quotes.
Oh, the lore behind the armor.
Right. But from the 3 Guardians who turned to the darkness.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So after fighting the nightmares and being led through the ship by our ghosts and our first actual one-on-one conversation with the darkness take place, the darkness manifests itself into an exact copy of your character. This is an interesting choice with a whole lot of implications. It's possible that just as there are nightmare versions of several of the series' major enemies, that there are nightmare versions of every Guardian, just like the Dark Link and Legend of Zelda series. There could be a full race of Dark Guardians who have left the light or perhaps never served it at all. In Shadowkeep's Garden of Salvation raid, we learned about.
That'd be so dope, dude.
Dark Guardians could also potentially be the 5th race we've only seen in concept. Dark Guardians who also potentially be the 5th race we've only seen in concept art, who are pictured alongside large black pyramids, which may well be the darkness ships. In terms of what this means for gameplay, there are a few exciting options here. First, the individual Guardians will have the choice to pick between light and darkness. Yes, I was talking about that earlier. I think that would be super cool.
That would be really cool.
To go.
Yeah.
Because at that point, then yes, I will start having 2 characters at that point. You know, I'll have a Warlock for my light and my Titan for darkness.
Oh, okay. That's how you're gonna play it. I got you.
Well, I hate.
You hate hunters. I got you.
No, I hate Titans.
Oh, you hate. Oh, I thought because you were just.
So they're gonna be the bad guys who are in the darkness.
Oh, gotcha. You left the hunter out. That's why I was curious. No, I would. Oh man, I'd be so into that. And then like bring in a new subclass. Oh yeah. Like maybe like
I've been wanting that for a long time.
Like maybe like a poison or like a darkness, like a.
Well, I've been wanting a new Guardian. Just in general.
Yeah. No, I'm not talking about like.
No, class. I know, but you just talking about a new subclass.
Oh yeah. But yeah, like a new class would be cool too.
Because you got Arc and Solar and Void.
Yeah. Poison.
Something poison
or like a darkness, like something from the darkness, so like necromancy kind of thing. That would be super cool.
This theory is backed up by the darkness giving us a sense of choice and saying, join the darkness or die during our conversation with it. It's also possible Bungie will clone player-created characters as AIs and have us fight against shadow versions of ourselves. That would be cool.
I'd be into that.
I would really be super into just fighting myself.
What if, like, depending on, like, if you chose to stay light or if you went to the dark, like, what if that implemented a new subclass for you? But you only got that if you chose to go to the dark.
Well, then I'm going to the dark. Well, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna keep one on like.
Yeah, no, and I
But
will.
like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just throwing that,
Mhm.
throwing that out there. I think that would be cool.
Or it simply means that the form of darkness wanted to take and disarm the Guardian, and the act will never be repeated. Of course, it does mean we still don't know what the darkness' true form actually is, and there's a lot left to learn. No, I think there's a lot of different options and different routes that they could go. I'm just super excited to kind of see where they do go with everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, they got another 5-year plan, so there's no telling where this is gonna head. That's 8 years of Destiny 2.
When does our next season drop? December 10th. So it is speculation that it's going to be December 10th.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And still Season of the Redacted.
No. Yeah, because the roadmap goes all the way up to November 19th. So that's as far as the calendar goes, with Final Assault probably marking the last few weeks of X Offensive before that seasonal activity goes away, with narrative arc leading into the Season of the Dawn that will most likely kick off in early December. Speculation is December 10th to allow players 3 weeks to participate in the Final Assault event, but that timeline hasn't been confirmed by Bungie.
Oh, that's another thing that's really cool. So along with like, Bungie's really clever when they leave like little Easter eggs, little breadcrumbs here and there.
Oh gosh, yes.
So now,
Little rice cakes.
yeah, the other day, we got a flavor text saying to take all the Vex components to Ikora and turn them in.
Mm-hmm.
And when you got there, she's actually, if you look behind her, there's a catwalk that's being built. Or they built a catwalk, and now they're building, that's where the portal's going to go for the final invasion.
Mm-hmm. You know what I found super funny about that? Is if you actually go behind her and you look at that woman welding.
She has no goggles on.
No, they're on.
Well, they're on, but
they're on
not
her
over
forehead. Because I was back there trying to like walk on it and like mess around with it, and I looked down. And this woman's welding, but she didn't put her goggles on.
So that's
Bungie
really
can
cool.
be so clever, but yet
So dumb. Also, October 22nd starts the Leviathan's Breath quest line, so that's going to be cool. It's the first heavy slot exotic bow.
Oh yes, I'm super excited. Is there anything you have to do beforehand?
So basically, you got to go and find it. Like, you have to go through like a special entrance or whatever, and then you have to do all the stuff that.
So I have to do the glitch first.
No,
before
no. The door will actually be opened up.
Oh, okay.
And then you got to do like calculating that Banshee had to do before, and he forgot the code for the door or whatever. So you have to do your own code, and it's like you got to go just do stuff. Basically, you go.
And this is gonna be a raid weapon?
No, I mean
No.
Yeah, the way that raid's designed, probably not.
No, I think okay. No, there is a raid weapon though.
Oh, Divinity. Exotic trace rifle.
Have you gotten that already?
No, because you have to do certain puzzles inside the raid, and then once you do that, then you can get it. But I do have it. I started it, so as long as I finish the raid and the puzzles by Tuesday or Monday night, it'll be good.
Well, that's the one where you gotta collect the bones.
No. This is the one like where you have to like remember how we were doing that little line puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that's for.
Oh.
Inside when we were inside Garden Salvation Raid.
I've got so many quests now. It's ridiculous.
I know it can be a little overwhelming
Mm-hmm.
for sure. But that's what I'm here for.
Right. Well, man, I enjoyed it. I think we covered everything as much thoroughly as possible. Wasn't a whole lot going on this week.
Mm-mm.
Let's get out here and go play some more Destiny.
Yeah, man.
All right, buddy. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a great day.